In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use smart objects to create all kinds of effects that are non-destructive. Normally when you apply effects in Photoshop 2024, 2023, etc., the effects are destructive. But you can convert a layer into a smart object, and any effect you apply then is non-destructive and can also be changed at a later point. Now, I've done this video with destructive effects before, so I'm just going to show you how to do this emboss effect in 32 bits mode in non-destructive. First thing to do is actually create a document. So let's just go and create a document. File and new. And now I'm just going to go with custom of 2374 by 1530 and also 32-bit. That's the key thing, 32-bit. You can set it here. So you've got 8-bit. I'm just going to go with 32-bit and then click create. Once you've got that, go to the gradient tool, and with the gradient tool selected, go up here and you can select classic gradient. You can also set all kinds of colourful gradients. So let's just apply it. And you can see you can create a nice colourful design. I want something with a lot of structure to it. Also, you can see I've got here linear, and I'm using blend mode of difference. That's the key thing, difference. Also perceptual for the method. The next thing to do is to convert it into a smart object. That layer can be converted to a smart object via the layer menu. Just go down to smart object and then convert it. So once it's that, you can't apply any sort of gradients to it anymore unless you actually edit it. You can do that, but I'm not going to do any more editing to the actual gradient design in this document. So layer menu, down to smart objects and convert to smart object. So once it's been converted, you can go over here to the layers, and with the layers expanding out, you can see now you've got a little smart object, little thumbnail icon there. Well, now what you can do is you can add effects to it. I'm going to go for filter, and you'll notice when you go to 32-bit, not every filter is available. So I'm just going to go to blur and Gaussian blur. In Gaussian blur, you can set the value, so you just got a nice blur design to start with. Now I'm going to vary the blur because I'm going to use this again and again. So click OK. Straight away, you can see then you've got an entry here. You've got smart filters and also Gaussian blur. That's associated now with this layer. So with this layer, you can now modify the actual smart object and the effect just by here. Just go there. Now I'm going to do that a little bit later with the other effect, which is the emboss. That's the next one. So filter and down to stylize and emboss. Now you'll notice a number of them are not available. So emboss, and I'm going to set it to 100 and 396. You can vary it, and also you can vary the angle. You can just change it, create all kinds of different designs. The reason I did the blur at the start was so it's a little bit more blurry when you actually come to the emboss as well. And then just click OK. And you can see now you've got the emboss added there. With smart objects, unfortunately, you can't go to the edit menu and fade the effect, but you can fade it via another way. You have to go to the layers panel and actually use the icon right at the far end of that smart effect. And I'll just quickly show you how to do that. So just go over here and I want to change the emboss. I don't want to change the Gaussian blur, but you can see, yeah, you've got a little, just very tiny, but double click, and that brings up this blending options. And you can go through them. Now, not every single option is available. So you can just go through, and I'm going to go with, say, difference. Now, as soon as you do that, you can see what you get, these lovely sort of lines, curved designs there. All kinds of designs can be created that way. And click OK. You could also, of course, change the opacity as well. So you've got this emboss. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually say the blend mode there. Would be a nice feature if it did, but it doesn't. Well, after that, you can apply again the emboss filter and just go down here to stylize and emboss. Now, that doesn't change the current emboss. All it does is add another one. And you can see then you've got this effect. And again, you can change the settings. So you can modify those if you wish, change the angle, tweak it in all kinds of ways, and then click OK. You can see now you've got emboss there, emboss there. They're different, so they're independent. Exactly the same as before. Just go here and double click. And you can again go down here and you can set it to difference. Now you can see really lovely structure appearing here, all kinds of different designs. So click OK. And of course you can always go back and edit it later. Also, if you want, you can always go to filter and blur, and you can then maybe add a little Gaussian blur. Now you don't probably want to push it that high, maybe 5.2, 5 point, just a slight blur, and click OK. You can also add other filters as well. Great ones, the distort ones. My favourite particular is wave. I love wave, so I'm just going to quickly go and apply a wave to this design. Again, it will be just a smart filter, which you can then modify at any point. And down again to distort, and this time wave. You could of course use twirl, shear, etc. So wave, and in wave you've got a number of options here. Number of generators, I go with 1. I normally go with that. The default's 5. You can set the wavelengths back in the middle and the amplitude in the middle, and you can see the result in this very, very tiny preview. Unfortunately, there's no preview on the screen itself. And also sine, and you can also go, say, with wraparound as well. Once you're happy with your settings, click OK. You can also, if you want, just randomize it, just try out different things. So you just randomize and randomize. You can see in the preview, you think, oh, you know what, that looks great. I'm going to go with that. Click OK. And then you've got your design there. You'll notice also you've got your wave there as well. And of course, you've got all these other ones still there. So filter and down to stylize and emboss again. And this is going to be my final one. So I'm just going to change that, change the settings, different angles, and click OK. Then again, go here. Just double click and then change it from normal and go down to difference. And you've got a really intense design there. Now, of course, you might not want to go that far. Maybe only add 3 or 4 of these embosses and click OK. Also, as mentioned, you can change these. So if you decide, you know what, I don't like that effect, or there's something wrong with it or whatever, you can go and change it. So you can just go, say, to the second emboss, just that one maybe, and double click, and now you can see you've got this screen. You can then say, oh, you know what, I prefer the angle to be that, or the height to be slightly different, or the amount to be slightly different. Click OK, and then it will rework out again. You can, of course, also remove them. Well, you don't have to remove them. You can simply disable them. Simply just go here, this little eye, and just click there, and that will remove that. So you might think, you know what, that result is better, or just click there to bring it back. You don't also have to stick with just filters. You can also add adjustments to it. So you might decide, you know what, I don't like the colours particularly. You can change the colours as well. And also with this, they're still live, so you can still edit them at any point in the process. So go to image menu and adjustments, and you can see you've got hue and saturation, photo filter. Some of them, unfortunately, are not available. But hue and saturation, you can just go and select that, and you can just change the hue as well as the saturation of your image. And maybe change the lightness, maybe go that other way, and click OK. You'll also notice you've got exactly the same as before. You've got here, this little option here, just double click, and it brings up this panel, and you can then change the blend mode for that as well. So maybe go for difference, or maybe go for subtract, and try out other options as well. Maybe lighten, and then click OK. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear from you. Also, a like or unlike, of course, or dislike, that's always great as well, either way. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Always add new tutorials about Photoshop, also about Affinity Photo, Designer, and many, many others. Bye.